Ryan Clark took his dogs for a walk every day. One day, they began to act very weird. What they found that day would change his life forever. But what caused the dogs to behave like that? And what would Ryan do when he discovered what was buried in the ground? Ryan Clark was happy with the life he had made. Since he was a teenager, he dreamed of meeting a nice girl and starting a family. At just 20 years old, he found the perfect woman. For months, he did everything he could to be with her, believing that if he tried hard enough, he would win her heart. But one day, she told him to stop. Grace was tired of Ryan chasing her. He had told her he loved her many times, and she was fed up with it. Then she said she was finally ready to be with him. And from that moment, things got better. At 23, Grace owned a bakery, and Ryan was a fitness instructor. They had been together for 3 years when Ryan asked Grace to marry him, and she cried with joy. They couldn't wait to spend their lives together. However, they felt something was missing. They were happy, but they wanted more. So they decided to adopt 3 lovely dogs from local shelters. They knew it would be a lot of work, but they couldn't leave 2 dogs behind, knowing they might be sad without each other. This is how Rex, Joey, and Bella were introduced to the couple. None of them were the same as the others, but now they were all part of a family. Nobody knew how it would turn out. Having 3 dogs turned out to be quite a hassle. Ryan and Grace had to take turns walking them every day. Although it was very tiring, they never regretted it. It was worth it. For an hour each day, they walked around their property, but Grace and Ryan had no idea that these walks would stay in their dogs' minds and lead to a discovery that would change their lives. Ryan began to notice that every time they passed a certain point on his property, the dogs would go crazy. They always seemed to smell and scratch at the same spot in the yard. Ryan called them to get them away from that area. He thought that a mouse or some other small animal was hiding in the ground. But eventually, Ryan forgot about that spot. The dogs never did. Ryan was completely wrong about what had interested them so much. At night, Ryan and Grace always left the dogs outside to run around their property. They had kennels with warm blankets where the dogs could rest safely every night. However, Ryan didn't know they were going to dig while he was sleeping. When Ryan woke up the next morning, he quickly picked up the kettle full of dog food and left. When he reached the sliding glass door at the back, he was faced with something he didn't expect. All the dogs were covered in mud. Ryan saw Rex drop something at his feet. When he saw what it was, he couldn't believe his eyes. Ryan leaned down and picked up Rex's gift. He examined it carefully. It was round and flat but completely covered in mud. He washed it quickly, taking a good 10 minutes to rinse off all the dirt. He did not want to use objects that could damage the mysterious item. As he washed the dirt away, he slowly realized that underneath was shining gold. Where did the dogs find it? Once the coin was cleaned, Ryan put it in one of his drawers. He made a mental note to look into it over the weekend. He didn't have time to do it now. He forgot about it and continued his day as usual. At night, once he finished work, he immediately went to bed exhausted. If he had known what he would find the next day, he would have taken the coin much more seriously. It would have been the discovery of a lifetime for him. When Ryan woke up the next day, he noticed another muddy coin near the door. He immediately knew it couldn't be a coincidence. He had to do something. He needed answers. He decided to take the dogs for a walk, hoping to find out where they had found the coins. He hoped that a neighbor would report the theft of the money, but when he found the answer to his questions, it was something he never expected. He felt a knot in his stomach as he crouched down and put his hand in the hole his dogs had dug. He felt something. It definitely wasn't what he had expected. He had no idea what was going to happen. His hand shook as he looked at his dogs. He had to make some phone calls if he wanted to get to the bottom of things. He had no idea that this would change his life forever. An old rusty paint can begin to emerge from the ground. Ryan started digging around it with a stick until he was able to lift it out of its hiding place. It was heavy and closed with an old rusty lid. Someone had been very careful to hide everything in it, but why? Ryan tried to open the container with his hands, but it was tightly closed and rusted. He lifted it to his ear and shook it cautiously from side to side. The contents moved with a heavy clack. What could be inside? Ryan would have to wait a little longer to find out. He rushed to get a pair of pliers and a crowbar. Finally, emerging with a broad smile, he began to open the rusty can. He was nervous with anticipation of finding something valuable. He crushed the top hard with the pliers and twisted until the lid came loose, spraying dry clumps of dirt and dust as it fell. Barely containing himself, he peered inside. His first glance into the darkness of the can didn't reveal much of its contents. There was what looked like dirt and gravel, but this wouldn't stop him from continuing his search. The earth inside was wet and compacted, but then something shiny caught his eye, and he realized he would have to dig deeper to reveal the contents. Ryan dug into the can, feeling the wet dirt stick to his fingers. Suddenly, he touched something smooth and metallic beneath the sand. "I found something," he whispered. As he pulled out coin after coin, he gasped when he saw the first one was dated 1886. He laid out over 100 ancient coins on the table, and his excitement grew with each discovery. He wondered where the coins had come from and if there were more hidden on his property. As he continued to dig, he found more rusty cans, each filled with coins. The treasure seemed endless, making Ryan feel like he was living a dream. He pondered the origins of the coins and quickly called his wife and an expert for help. Ryan called his wife and told her about the discovery he had just made. He told her that she had to ensure no one was listening. Even though it was his property, he didn't want to risk anyone else finding out about what had happened. The next phone call was to an expert who would be able to identify the coins for him. For all he knew, they might be useless, but he had a feeling they were very special. Most of the coins dated from 1847 to 1894, making them more than a century old and dating back to the time of the California gold rush in the 1800s. But the date alone did not determine the true value of the coins, rather it was their volume. Ryan had unearthed an impressive total of 1,400 ancient coins, and most surprisingly, they were in incredible condition. As soon as the excitement subsided, and he called an appraiser, the couple received the news. Most of the coins found were $20 gold pieces, also known as double eagles. The surprises kept coming. Douglas Mudd, director and curator of money at the American Numismatic Association, explained that some of the nest egg coins were even rarer, such as the $5 piece known as the Dahlonega half eagle. But where did the coins come from? The expert told Ryan that the coins were difficult to trace but were probably worth a fortune. They were at least 100 years old, and since he had found them on his property, he had the right to keep them. However, the man informed him that it was also possible that they were involved in a dark story that could jeopardize their chances of keeping the money. It didn't look like good news. When experts examined the gold coins, they believed the stash had been buried over time, with a total face value of $28,000, significant money in the late 1800s. Mudd noted that it was unusual for someone to bury such a fortune. He mentioned a robbery at the San Francisco Mint in the early 20th century, raising concerns that these coins might be linked to it. Although the captured thieves never revealed the location, Mudd advised Ryan that they might never know for sure. Ryan was amazed that he had stumbled upon this treasure due to his curiosity. Mudd explained that while buried coins are common in Europe, they are rare in the US. He suggested that the coins were likely hidden by an outlaw fleeing justice. But how much is this incredible find worth? The estimated value of the coins is absolutely impressive, $10 million in today's market. But the question on everyone's lips is, what will they do with all that money? It has been estimated that some of the rare gold coins can be worth up to $1 million alone, a sum of money that many can only dream of owning one day. The extremely lucky and elated couple decided to do the noble thing, pay their outstanding bills, and then donate the rest of the precious coins to various charities in their community. Has your pet ever found anything valuable? What would you do if you made such a huge discovery? Let us know in the comment section. I hope you like this idea. Please give it a thumbs up and share it with your loved ones. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.